Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Timberborn Z, where I think I figured it out. Maybe. I don't know. We shall see. But here's what I have planned. Whoosh. So, I can't really necessarily fill the gaps entirely as I wanted to, but we know that we can build dirt. We can build dirt overhangs. And so these small gaps, and I believe that there's a max of 3 allowance, means that we could fill all these gaps in with dirt. And I had, intended to do something interesting with all of this, and I wanted to incorporate one of the plans that I've had for a long time as far as housing is concerned. Our little housing areas through a water plan. So here's what my plan looks like right now. Provide them with tubeway access to on top of here, which means that they'll be able to actually get up here and build our platforms, theoretically. So they're going to come in, they're going to build each of these little bad Johnnies right here. That means that they can crawl up here and build on top of all of this. And then they can continue along the top, which means that they can build on top of that line of overhangs right there, right? That's the theory. So they'll be able to build in here and then build this portion, then they should be able to build the dirt right there. If they can't build this dirt, then I will just grab this, I'll rip this out, I'll pull this forward with the tunnels, and then we'll tear the tunnels out once the dirt has been placed appropriately. And then we'll put in our tubeway station on top. That will give us access to the top of this without having to do this weird stair structure and all this other weird stuff that's going to make things awkward and painful, and I just don't want to deal with that. So that is the going in argument. Now, we are still well below the build limit. We can place dirt. Theoretically, we should be able to place dirt on this entire system right here. Now, in here, I want to place in all of our housing. And I want little canals that run through all of this. So, we'll probably have this that drops down into a system. We might actually get rid of this dirt, honestly. That's right here. So, I'm going to do that real quick. I don't think that this dirt is necessary, because I kind of want this path to be underwater. So let's do that. So that means that I want stairs to go like here and right here, and then we want this path to come along right there, and that path needs to be on impermeable flooring like such as. And then probably do the same out to here and here. Like that. And then we will need to have access to our housing on either side. But that should not be that much of an issue theoretically. Now let's see what that entails. I'm going to need stairs up to our housing, and our housing is like this, if I'm not mistaken. And so that means that's one set of housing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's not good. We could, what other housing options do we have? We've got, that is 1, 2, 3 wide, and this is also 3 wide. Okay, so I overestimated the size by a tad bit. So that's 1. That should be 2, right? Theoretically. So let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick, just to make sure I'm not losing my mind. Put the dirt in on top, then put our housing on top of here, and it does work as advertised. Then we can toss in our additional dirt like such as. And that gives us an allowance to do fun things like put in shrubberies and put in fun things like our lantern posts and such as and the like. So we can actually start working some of that stuff in here like that, right? And then we'll have to figure out a way to put in our water dump in here somewhere. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll be on top, hidden away in like a little alcove in the top of this in here. But that will be basically the idea, right? We've got to fill in... I've got 25 beavers without housing right now. Oops. I should probably rectify that. That would make our beavers a little bit happier. That's 1, 2, that's 6, 12. And so we need at least that much and then some, I believe. Obviously. So we need another 2 more, so 14 in total, which should not be that big of an ask theoretically. Now I am going to tear this out so I don't accidentally cause a problem for all of the things, and we will let them get up here and start working on that. So I'm going to hit the play button. We're going to sit back. We're going to enjoy this little time lapse of all of the things that I hopefully have planned out smartly. And if I haven't, then I get to come back and fight myself later. But enjoy the wonderful Timberborn music.
Blame them if they're freaking bored, especially when my chat is dead. All I ask is if anyone's here.
All right, I don't think that my wonderful plan to cheese that actually worked. So we're going to take that out and we're going to do, well, the dirt should work, right? I don't know why it didn't, but it's okay that it didn't. Because we can do something along these lines right here. Connect that all up like that. Then we can, like I said, tear those out. And then we can put our lovely two-way station back on top. Yeah, I don't know why they weren't placing the dirt. I guess they don't like building dirt from in a tubeway. Maybe that's a limitation that I'm not aware of. Building lacks materials. You're out of scrap metal. Interesting. Probably all of those. Are we out of... Oh, well, that's not good. Let's turn this off real quick. We need the pine resin again for sparkly planks. My bad. And I think we could probably... I don't know if I have really a spot for sparkly planks up here, so that's gonna have to hold off for now. All right, cool. They got this in, so we can tear this out now, and then we can put all of this back in our two-way station like that, and we'll just cover this in dirt. We won't be able to see that. Yeah, it's the same thing on this side. They don't want to build dirt. It's actually mildly intriguing. I did not know that that was a limitation. Now I do know that, but with that being rectified, we can get back to the time lapse.
He's a master. trees that grow in a day, and we harvest them for the sake of a version of the fable whole cake mountain. We got trees that grow in a day, and we harvest them for the sake of a version of the fable whole cake mountain. Lead the way, moving dreams that beavers to stay, better than the rest to rise. Beaver City, touch the skies, Timberborn to woodland pride, crafting worlds where beavers thrive, awesome builds and new designs, more than rivals in their prize. Beaver Empire, he creates greatest tales, he ever ways better than the rest. You see, Beaver King of Destiny, saving beavers' destiny, saving beavers with each blade, and suffering captivate. New vision plans unfold, more than stories ever told. Water flows and rivers change, Beaverland's no longer strange. Watch him build chain fate in this world, he's truly great. Beaver Empire, he creates greatest builds, he ever waits better than the rest. You see, Beaver King of Destiny, saving beaver destiny.
And welcome back to that wonderful montage of trying to get this going. I have to say, I'm pretty happy with how well it turned out. We got a few beavers that got stuck every once in a while, but we were able to rescue a few of them without much issue. I do notice that my inability to do that whole symmetry thing is, well, still fighting and strong. But I feel like that adds a little bit more to the, I guess, feel of the entire build. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm kind of happy with where we're at. I'm going to tear this out, and I need to give them a way up to actually this other side. Maybe this will be the outer edge, and I will allow them to actually walk around this side, and that will be their access to this outer ring. I'm thinking that we will also toss in, I keep saying toss in like I'm just haphazardly throwing this stuff together. There's kind of a method to my madness here, okay? Sure, it's a form of madness, but there is a method to it, all right? That all being said, happiness is at an all-time high of 45, as it immediately drops back down to 44. But that's okay. As we transition more of our bots into working positions, we'll be able to get a few more of our beavers more entertained, and with all of them housed appropriately, and as we transition them away from this monstrosity of a housing complex and transition this into more industry for bot development and bot production, that's probably going to help out a fair bit. But I'm pretty stoked with how well this all turned out. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with this side yet. I've got enough housing for the amount of beavers that I have. Obviously, we are at 329 max housing. We're going to be removing a fair portion of that. We've got 12 of these barracks sitting right here, and they each hold, I believe, 20. Let's see. Is it 20? 16. So it's a fair amount of housing that we're about to rip out, and they'll all transition over here. Now, I like this, how this is set up. So in order to actually gain access to their homes, they have to walk through a nice little stream. Even over here, they have to walk through a stream to gain access to their housing on this side. They've got access to a pool here, so they can pop in, get their swim on. They've got all of their shrubbery available. They've got their statues, lanterns. Let's see, what other decorations do I need? Braziers, I need some more up. I don't know if I need more up here or if I should try to get more of that down into... I feel like that side's doing pretty good. I don't think that's entirely necessary to get down in there and do that. We may end up dotting the braziers around the campfires that we're going to be putting up around this outer edge here. And that might be the best use of that aesthetic or decoration requirement. So I feel like that'll be met very easily there. I am thinking that we probably are lacking a little bit on the... Let's see here. Need more Flame of Unities up. I need more... I haven't put any tributes of Ingenuity up. Let's see, where is the mud bath? So we're at 246 out of 345. So we're doing pretty good on that. I am realizing that I'm lacking in the scratchers after looking at that. Oh, I do need to put in some of our monuments up here. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to be able to fit those because this is going to be capped off yet again by another dome, right? If I put them in the center-ish area, then that should be all right. And maybe we could do something like... I really wish that there was something that lets you do like a 1x3 with the overhangs on either side. I feel like that'd be really helpful. Maybe we can do something like that and somehow feed in. I don't even want the one. I just want 2x2, or I want it 2 wide. Maybe that's what we do. We just come in here and is that weird to have them swimming underneath all the statues? Is that excessive, aggressively excessive? Maybe. But I'm here for it, so will they actually, can they swim under that? No, but we can. Well, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we did a line like that, or maybe this, and then like this, grab these here, grab this. Pull that like so. And that lets us put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm seeing that I've created a problem with not working in even numbers. And that's one of the problems that you'll have with a lot of these types of builds is all of your stuff is 2x3 or 2x2 or 2x4, and then you start building and everything likes to be very nice odd numbers because that gives you this line to make your symmetry from, and then it just turns into a mess from there. So maybe what we need to do is actually do this. Do this right here. I really don't want to do this. I wish I could put that on here, but I can't. And then we go out 4, 5 on either side. That still puts us at an odd number, so I don't like that idea. So we're not going to do that. Okay, so let's do this. We'll do this like that. We'll go 6 across, 6 there. We'll do doubles through here, and then we will put in our monuments on top here. The reason I'm putting this outer one in is so that I can actually get up and they can build all of those things for us. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem getting up there and facilitating that. And I'm also just now realizing that I don't have power moving up here, which shouldn't be a problem theoretically, except for how does one feed power up here? I do not know. So I want that like that. Does that cover all the housing? It does. This does not cover all of it, but it covers a fair portion of it, so that should meet the intent there. And then what we could do is actually pull this in by 1. Like that, and then, well, that doesn't help anything at all. So let's do this right here, like we originally had it. This tribute to ingenuity. This has a rather large. Maybe that could be something that we put right here. Maybe that's what we do. We put them on the corners here. I like that idea. And then we just... Well, I can't really hide the power to it. But I can run power through here and into it underneath, which should be doable. Actually, can I run power underneath one of these things? So let's look at that real quick. So can I run power underneath one of these? The answer is no, I cannot. That is annoying. I'm gonna try it again, just to make sure I'm not losing my mind. No, I cannot. All right, so that does not work like that at all. All right. Can run power from under here. Well, that power is behind this, right? So that's not really going to help out too much, and that's going to bother me. But I'm going to fill that in because I want the power, or the monument tribute to ingenuity on there, or in this little gap right here. Let's see, how do we want to tackle that? I have no idea how I want to tackle that. I'm so torn. I'm so torn. Let's see. I can't really put them right there. So maybe since I don't, well, since this is already like that, so maybe we don't need this as deep here. So let's go ahead and rip those out. We'll do just the one smaller, since we're only fitting a couple in here in the first place. Like that. Save us a little bit of material. It's not a lot, but it's something. So that goes right there. That goes right there. This goes right here, and that goes right there. And then what can we put up top? Maybe a decoration, a beaver bust. Like that and like that. And then we can put a brazier here. A tiny one. We'll pause this one and this one so they can gain access to all that. And then go ahead and put in some of our stairs real quick so they can get up and do all of those things. I do need to give them access to do all of that. That means pulling that path in around here. And to make things a little bit easier, we'll let them tackle it from both sides. So that should be nice and simple for them to accomplish. So that can get done there. And I'm still trying to figure out how I want to move power. So I can do something like this. Punch this out, fill this in, and then have it set right here. Now, it's not going to sit even, which is going to irk the ever-living... Well, no, it's a 3x3. Okay, I love that fact. Okay, that makes me a little bit happier. So, let's do that. So that's 1, 2, 3. Am I looking at that correctly? Yes, that's 3 deep. So let's blast this out. Let's do the same over here. And we'll do the same on all 4 sides here. We'll fill this in like that. And then we'll have to path out just a tad bit to accommodate that. Tear out a little bit of this path here. Put in more path like this. Tear out some more of this path like that. Then all we have to do is just tap into that Bad Johnny right there, that motivatorium right there, which is already providing us power. And so we just fill this in like this. And bada bing, bada boom, we've got our problem solved. Great. I love it. And it hides a little bit more of the mess that I've got going on behind here. So that should be pretty nice. I am actually pretty happy with that solution. So we will call that a win there. We're going to grab this, go out and around. I know that this path is highly suspect and absolutely unnecessary on so many levels. But it is required. Now this path right here is going to run into a problem. No, it's not, because I've already got an overhang there. So that will not be that much of a problem to begin with. So let's go ahead and rip this path out right there. Grab this path. Run it like such as, and then we can grab our dirt one more time. Cover this up. Realizing I don't need that dirt overhang right there, and they should be able to reach all that without any issue, and we'll let them go ahead and work on that for us. Now, the question is, does this have to be on the ground? No, it does not explicitly say that it has to be on the ground. Good! That makes my life that much happier. Okay. I was about to be very concerned there because I was looking at this and I was also looking at the number of sparkly planks that I had on hand. And I was sorely lacking in that regard and very concerned for my mental well-being as we were about to tackle this next project. And oh my goodness, did I miss this portion right here? Jeez Louise. This is why I can't have nice things. And... meh. It's close enough, alright? I'll call it a win. We'll call this a win. The Bat-Tite's still running. We've got explosives moving. We've got these going in. So that is good. They're already almost done with half of this right here. I don't know if I'm going to have all the metal blocks and all the stuff required for all of this next major build that we're about to put in, but they've already got the dynamite in, so that's good. Dynamite's not in quite yet over here or over here, but that should not cause any issues. So that being the case, we can go ahead and blow that out right there. That should put us on the level that I had intended it to be on. Yes, it did. Why have we not built that? Probably because dirt was placed as a priority. I'm not entirely sure. So now that that's out of the way, we can go ahead and tack in our power connections in here. like that. And pull this up. Pause the game so I can actually do stuff, because that's always nice. And that is ready for us. We can hit this button. That is ready for us as well, so we can hit that button. And you are already out, so we can go ahead and get you plugged in. Post haste. There we go. That's connected. That's connected. Unpause, pause again, and rinse and repeat as we get all this finagled in. And that's 2. Still got a little dust cloud in there. That's actually kind of funny. And then... oh. Did I go down too far? No. I shouldn't have gone down too far. Uh-oh. I did go down too far. Did I go down too far? No, I didn't go down too far. What am I thinking? 1, 2, 3. I think that's right. Yeah, that's right. Weird. Weird. All right. Well, it's fine. No problems there. Sweet. We can now go ahead and grab our tribute to Ingenuity at 12K. I think we've got the science. We've only got 156,000, you know. That's not much. I think we'll be okay. The problem is we're going to eat through our metal blocks like no one else's business. So maybe we'll not build all 4 of these in one go. Oh, I need one more placed in here. There we go. That's why it didn't make sense. I understand. So we'll get 1 built for now, you know? I feel like that's totally fine. And then the cap that we're going to put on to all this will be inside that ledge there that we've created. So the cap will go on top of this area is how I'm kind of envisioning this to go. Maybe, hopefully I'm able to accommodate that. If not, then, well, we're going to have some issues. But, let's see. Did I pause all 4? I paused all 4. Let's unpause this one, since that's going to provide us with a lot of coverage. A fair majority of this should be covered. By that, I mean, this area is covered, and then a fair portion of our housing over here is also covered. So that should meet the intent there, hopefully. Why do we have an injured beaver? Frostlars, what were you doing that made you... okay, now I've got to figure out what it is that these beavers are doing that's getting them injured. All right? No bio beavers are doing biosimilar jobs. No bio beavers are doing that. We've got 2 bio beavers in the coffee brewery. No more. Bad water pump. We got a couple, but those are all paused. Let's see. That's paused. We can go ahead and shift these over, even though they are paused, in case I do need to turn them back on. Why is that one? Oh. Interesting. That's really strange. Why is that? Is that because it's not connected to a path? Maybe that's why it's like that. I'm going to go with that as why that's actually working. Deep water pump. Our beavers should not be getting injured in a deep water pump, so I'm okay with leaving them like that. For now, dirt excavator, none of our beavers are doing that. District center, that's paused, so that's fine. District crossing, those are paused, so there's no need for us to make that manipulation. Farmhouses, I don't need to make that transition yet. I don't have the bots to accommodate that. Fermenter is fine. Fluid dump, that's not going to cause any injuries. Eggplant rations, and well, those are paused, but Shouldn't cause any injury. Injuries, none. Gatherer flags, no injuries there. Got a lot of gatherer flags. Holy moly. But yeah, no injuries. Workshop. Do I have a biobeaver in workshop? Gear workshop? No. Grease factory? No. Hauling post? Not injury inducing. Hydroponic garden? Not injury inducing allegedly. Let's see. What else do we have here? Industrial lumber mill. Lumberjack flag, no. What do they get? Is this just like some random beaver just randomly getting hurt walking? Is that a thing? Is that a possibility? Oil press? Maybe that could do it. But no, they're all bio beaver or iron bots. Words are hard. Smelter. There we go. That will cause it. Yeah. That'll do it. That'll cause an injury or two. Okay. We found the smoking smelter. All right. So, we'll let them work on all of that. Hopefully that doesn't take too long, and hopefully they're able to accommodate that without causing too much consternation, too much heartache for any of our beavers. Now, the question becomes, do we tackle this underground ruin? Or do we come over here and tackle this underground ruin? And, or do we hit this one? That one's way too far. I think that this one might be the simplest to get to, since we've already got a fair portion of our tubeway, and we do have a plan for this one. That there are plans for that. So maybe we will tackle this guy. Now, I believe the only thing that I should need for that, and I do need to check this. That is probably why... Oh, did they changed it again? They changed it again. That explains it. That explains a lot. I could... I must have missed that patch note. Because this used to cost nothing. Now it costs treated planks. You get 5. If you do scrap metal, 1 treated plank, 2 extract, you get 10. That is interesting. So we want to bring some of this over. Actually, we've already got the extract over here. That explains why our scrap metal production has been severely stilted. Or halted, I guess? And why are you guys sat on your bum? Probably because we're lacking in the pine resin. Because we've got Smooth Cat sat on her bum, not doing anything quickly enough. Also, that's very little in the way of material for you to be working with. So, we need to rectify that by doing something over here. By turning off the cutting of all of these trees. There are pine trees already in. So we'll go ahead and grab all of that. Unmark all of that for cutting. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and rip out these 2 right here. Give that a priority bump. And then hit the play button so our builder bots can come over and take care of that real quick so that we can go ahead and put in a tapper's shack in here, which doesn't cover... That covers a fair portion, actually. It hits all of them except for these back here. So that is good to know. And since we have stopped the chopping down of these trees, we can go ahead and pause these positions and get them back to work doing something else productive with their life. Go ahead and hit that button to bring some more of those guys online. And we can also swap this out since we have 10 bots floating around now doing nothing with their hands. Sweet. So trees here, good. Trees here also good, but we need the pine resin, which means this needs to go in, which means I need a place for Sapphire, or should I say Ironbot 901, to store their resin. Or we can hit this button, prioritize by haulers, which doesn't necessarily help out too much, but it's something. And what we should do is actually do something like this as well. So we'll grab this. Beavers are happier than ever. I love to see it. 46, that is beautiful to see. What did we get built? We got one of our Flames of Unity in. Wow. A second Flame of Unity about to be finished. Just waiting on them to keep smacking it a little bit. So that'll be nice to see. They've got a little brazier in there, so that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. And that one's almost done. That will bring our happiness score up even that much more. And I'm happy to see it. Now the question is, why haven't they built any of the power wheel or power lines in there? I guess they're just building the dirt first. Well, I guess this was the priority because that was placed in first. So now that that's done and out of the way, we can unpause those two. And here's where I wish I had... Well, I could do the same thing on this side, honestly. There's nothing stopping me from doing that. Except for this is already covered. Woo! I love it. That makes me happy. But, well, do I have the material to do something like that? That's the real question. I've got the room. I can build over that like I did before. 200 logs, 300 planks, 100 metal, 600 planks. It's gonna hurt the plank stuffs, but we should be able to do that. So let's do that again. Let's come out on this side. That was this line right here, right? Is that right? Yeah, on the outer edge of the pool. So like that, and then we did twos right here. Not that one. So we want this, like such as, and so. Go ahead and toss in our labor monument right here. Click the right buttons because I'm a goober, and that goes right such like that. Chalk that in. What do we do over here? Beaver busts. Do we want to put in the beaver statues on this side? I think the answer is yes. Pause these two. Actually, boo, I just realized what I did. These were supposed to be temporary. Let's not put those there. Let's put these right here. And let's do the same right here. And then pause these two. There we go. And now I've got to give them a way up there to knock that out. That little path out right there. Do the same thing right here. Probably need to provide them a connection so that they don't get lost. This. And boom, boom. I caught you doing beaver things. There we go. Sweet. So that goes in. That'll take a second for them to get all of that accomplished. And now I need to... What was I working on? I was working on something very important. this. This is what I was working on. Okay, so I wanted to come down here. We need a couple things. And that means that I want to do this like that. And like that. Actually, like that. Actually, I want this to be doubles. Yep, doubles. We're going to do doubles here. Maybe we pull it back just a tad bit. I'll do that. That. And I think that should work. Maybe, hopefully, I'm not making this more painful than it needs to be. We'll give this a priority because I want to get this done. Because all of that is going to take priority over everything else that I just told them to do. All of this is getting cleaned up though, so that is nice. They are filling those holes in. And we're at 47 officially, 48 officially. I love it. Happy Beavers, 49. Oh my goodness. 40, 50. It just keeps going higher. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, that's what we wanted to see happen there. I want to grab one of these large warehouses. Put that in there. Put this in right here. Grab that like so. Then I would like to grab this right here. Want to grab that. Move that right there. And that should give us pretty good amount of coverage of all that. It does. Then I want to grab you. Realizing that that is not in a good position. I'm going to pause the game again. Because reasons. It does provide a fair bit of coverage. But that should meet the intent there. Rotate that. That should give us that coverage. Grab this. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we want to plant all of our pine back into here. Like that. And I need them to come down and cut this. I might actually have to... No, I can't even get them over here to do that. So... Can anybody reach that? So that's what happens when you let trees grow naturally. They just run rampant. And I don't have the means to cut them down, so that is cool. I can't just let them continue to grow. They're just going to fill in this line, and I don't know if they grow down or not. But, yeah, there's not much I can do about that. I do need to make sure that these guys... Probably need to turn that back on so they can replant some of those already torn down trees. I don't think this guy who's already paused can reach that either. So go ahead, turn that back on. Let them get to work. Let them do things. We've already got Matsuka in here planting some trees for us. So that is good to see. Coming down from downtown to this forest right here. Forest Pop, doing Forest Pop things, and I love to see it. I do need to unmark all this pine from cutting, though, because we do not want one of our beavers coming in and doing something ridiculous, and I do also need to give this a priority bump. Again, fighting priorities over here. Which is totally fine, because these are priorities that we like to have, because it makes the beavers happier, and a happy beaver is a good beaver, okay? Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Great. So they can continue to work on that as time progresses. No goods selected. You are pine resin. And your supply, you are that button. And then we will let them continue to do those things. Now, this tapper shack has a place to put pine resin into. And then these guys will have the same allotted to them as well. Kodiak, you're fired. Ironbot 732 reporting for plantry? Never mind. Just disregard everything that just happened there. All right. So, now we need to tackle this. We've already got scrap metal moving again, so that is good to see. But we are burning through our sparkly planks now at a pretty heinous rate. We do have 6 places running them, though, so theoretically that should keep up with the demand. So we've got what, two an hour, roughly 2 an hour, and this goes through 1 every 2 hours. So we're not quite meeting the demand there. The demand signal do be strong for the sparkly planks. I see what you did there, devs. I see what you did there and why you did the thing. I did not anticipate it biting me in the butt this harshly, though. I should have paid attention to the patch notes. Oh, hi there. Wow. That is beautiful. Look at it. That is so awesome. We've got some happy beavers doing happy beaver things, and we've just made them that much more excited. I love to see it. Yeah, I hope that you love to see it. We love having happy beavers, you know? And I think, can we pause these? We can. So we can actually move them out of those positions, or these houses down here. Push them all up in here. There's no reason for them to be upset about that maneuver, which obviously it has made them that much happier. So much happier, since they're no longer sleeping in dinky quarters. They're sleeping in Whole Cake Mountain quarters. Look at them go. They're so happy. Oh, it's brilliant. You love to see it. We've got happy beavers doing happy beaver things. And I'm elated by this. Is this double platform necessary? Probably not. This one definitely isn't necessary. Sweet. 58. I totally miscounted or didn't pay attention to that last ding, but that is fantastic. We've got happier beavers than ever. We've got a problem with our production line again, but I have a way forward, I think. Do I have all these running? I do. Probably need to get more of these moving, honestly, just to keep up with the demand. How are we doing on... Oh, hey, look. Canola seeds. I wonder how we're doing, guys. I think we're doing just fine on the canola seeds. It's looking pretty good here. Looking pretty good. Maybe we should cut back a little bit on the canola, but the sheer amount of canola oil that is needed to keep the grease factories pumping out enough grease to have an entire large tank full of grease, it's astronomical. That being said, we should probably do something to help the beavers out with their grease consumption a little bit by giving them places to actually get their grease, but that is not currently on the list of things that are a priority. Now, the priority is, of course, fixing this little spot right here so we can get that one tree spot taken for us. Then we'll go ahead and tell them not to chop that down. If I put in a lumberjack flag right here, it does cover that, I guess. So that's kind of helpful. No reason not to, and we can just go ahead and swap this over to a iron bot pretty easily without any problems. Now let us see about grabbing that and going this way. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to make this path, then get everything built in over here, and we'll do a final recap. So if you guys want to stick around, enjoy this last time lapse, and yeah, enjoy. And there we go. I feel like that's a... Oh, come on. There's no need to be fighting. Come on, I believe in you. There we go. Sweet. That should meet the intent. We've got that rocking. We've got our fishing mine. We've got a large industrial pile for sparkly planks, scrap metal, and we've got another large extract tank. It's probably excessive, but I thought maybe just toss it in, or maybe we'll not toss in a large one. Maybe we'll be just fine with a couple of these smaller tanks. I don't think that we're burning through it that fast, so we'll make these ones the obtain for the extract, and I think that should meet the intent there. Now that'll take them a little bits to get all the way across there. We're kind of hurting in the metal blocks and the planks aspect. It doesn't help that we're burning through all of the planks like nobody's business, doing all of the things to include creating our treated planks, which are subsequently going to be burned in various other fashions. However, we did just regain a fair portion of real estate here, so that we can do something with this in the future. So we'll probably expand this production hub to include more industrial lumber mills so that we can increase our plank production, and then toss in some additional wood workshops to help facilitate the rest of that build, or the builds in the future. So what we're looking to do is keep up with the metal requirements to keep our bots going. We want to expand our bot population by another 250. So we're 260 right now. It's about 1-to-1 total, or 352, and then so we need another 352 iron bots floating around. We only have 250 jobs to fill, so technically we only need another 260 more iron bots, which means doubling what we've got bot factory wise here, so that should not be that much of a problem for us. Theoretically, that should not be much of an issue going forward. Now, next time, after we get this facility up and running, and then side project is finishing up putting the dome on top of this here, and probably adding some additional entertainment stuff in there, and then putting in our walls to block off, well, the ne'er-do-wells that aren't supposed to be coming in. We won't talk about the den of thieves downstairs, but that's besides the point. We will start stockpiling all of our dirt. So that's probably going to look like, you guys will see the end of the cap. And then you guys will see an episode that starts out with a bunch of piles of dirt down here. Just a metric poop ton of large industrial piles filled with dirt down here, up here, everywhere, as much as I could get in, and everything this time should be nice and full, other than maybe these might pop up. Okay, I get bored when I sit here and I have to stare at all the beavers doing all the things for a prolonged period of time, but I digress. I feel like this episode's gone on long enough. I've been only recording for about 2 hours and 37 minutes at this time, watching all of the stuff get built and such and so on and so forth. So I am going to remember to put in some sort of energy system over here for our iron bots that will be working this in the future. And then I will also catch you all in the next episode of Wow. Woo! All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit that like button. If you have not already hit the subscribe button, I would appreciate that as well. You guys are all fantastic, amazing human beings, and I appreciate you all. Thank you all for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed playing with my beavers with me. And yeah, we'll catch you all on the next episode of Timberborn Z. Or whatever we're going to call it next time. I don't know. Have fun. I'm out. Oh, yeah. Don't forget to keep yourselves nice and hydrated. Keep your beaver nice and hydrated as well. And make sure that you keep yourself nice and thirsty. All those fun things that I normally say at the end of one of these episodes. It's late, so I'm going to go. Have fun. See ya.